Okay, if you're going to take someone's picture and they keep blinking when the flash goes off, and you keep getting them with their eyes half closed looking like they're stoned or something, you can actually work around that with these cameras. Set the camera to programmable mode, turn the flash on with the right button there. We'll set the flash to on, so that forces the flash on. So now what we're going to do when we take the picture is you hold the shutter button halfway down to pre-focus. You press the up arrow on this little circle pad. When you do that, the flash fires once. That pre-measures the exposure, and now it'll say focus exposure lock down here in the bottom left. Now when you take the picture, the flash will be pre-measured, and it'll use it already knows the power to use on the flash, so it doesn't need to fire two. So it'll just fire the one flash, and the person will not have a chance to blink. I'm taking a picture of a piece of paper, so there's glare, but that's how you make sure that people don't blink. And then you press the up arrow again to get rid of the focus lock, and now you're back to programmable auto. And that's all there is to that. So to recap, compose, hold the button halfway down, press up, it measures the flash power, and now you're ready to take a picture whenever you want. You take the picture, and the flash fires one time, the person doesn't have time to blink, they don't get the stoned look, and that's all there is to it. Press up to remove the focus lock, or flash lock. And that's that. Okay, the first custom setting I'm going to talk about, or programmable setting, is fireworks mode. You go down to programmable auto, which is the middle selection. Press the middle button to get to functions. We're going to scroll to the right from P all the way to the last item. The last item is programmable, meaning there's different functions you can make this last selection. To change it, you hit display. See where it says face self-timer display? That means if you wanted something other than display, or other than face self-timer, hit display. Like yours may be something other than face self-timer actually. So I hit display. Now I've got a new set of functions that I can program to that last slot. So I'm going to scroll over to fireworks. There's fireworks. Hit display to go back. So now display is my last selection. So now I hit function set to get out. If you're going to be taking pictures of fireworks, you want to turn off image stabilization, because 2 seconds is too long. The image stabilization will actually probably make the picture blurry, so now that's off. And the way that the firework mode works is there is a 3-stop neutral density filter built into the camera that comes down, basically like sunglasses that are built in. Makes it so the fireworks don't overexpose it. It will focus at infinity, so it doesn't try to focus all over the place. It will use a 2-second exposure and ISO 80 for maximum quality. And what I suggest doing is using a tripod and using the self-timer in continuous mode. Set it to continuous mode. Why can't I adjust that? Oh, menu for settings. So I'm going to set it to 0-second delay and 10 shots. And what that's going to allow me to do is when the camera's on the tripod, I can hit the button and it'll start taking 10 pictures back to back to back. And each picture will be 2 seconds, and odds are one of them will have a good frame. And then of course you want to zoom all the way out to wide angle to get as much of the fireworks in as possible, or maybe if you're far away you want to zoom in. Either way, it's fine. And then those are the settings I use for fireworks. Okay, even though the camera does not have a panorama mode, you can still shoot panoramas perfectly fine. Set the camera into programmable auto mode. Set the ISO and all the white balance, everything you set the way that you want. You want to turn image stabilization on if you need that. And you Turn the grid on, so you have the 3x3 grid, so that'll help you line up your overlap. Turn the flash off, so the flash is off. You want to hold the camera sideways, press the shutter halfway down, focus on an area of the sky, or not sky, but area of the horizon where it's neither the brightest nor darkest in your entire scene. So if you've got the sun to your left and shadows to your right, you want to go probably halfway in between so that your average exposure will be about right. You pick a part of the horizon, focus on it, hold the button halfway down. You're going to press up, which is the exposure lock, this little plus and minus. So now the AEL icon comes on the screen. That means the exposure is locked. Now we want to lock the focus at wherever we're focusing, which is probably near infinity. So while holding the button halfway down, press the flower. We see the AFL. So the AFL is automatic focus lock, and AEL is automatic exposure lock. So now the camera will not refocus, and it will hold the exposure. And then when you take a picture, you want to zoom all the way out and pay attention to items that are on the lines. And then you take a picture, put the item on the next line, take another picture, keep doing that until you get all the way around, and then you'll have your panorama. Press up to remove the exposure lock, press left to remove the focus lock, and now the camera's back in the automatic mode. And that's that. Just one little note about exposures. If you hold the button halfway down, the camera will tell you the shutter speed that it's using and the aperture and the ISO. When you zoom in, it goes from f2.8, which is the most sensitive to light, to f5.9, which is about 4 times less light. So where my shutter was 1/30th, now it's 1/20th, and my ISO is up to 500. So my shutter's slower and my ISO is higher. If at all possible, if it's low light, instead of zooming in, you should just walk closer, and then you'll get less motion blur. Every time you double the distance, the flash power is cut in a quarter. So if you need the flash to be longer than it is, you can double the ISO. Every time you double the ISO, you'll extend the flash range by 50%. So if you go from ISO 100 to 400, you'll double the flash range. If you go from 400 to 800, you'll double it again, and 800 to 1600. But of course, you'll increase a lot of noise when you do that. That's about all the tips that I have.